Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Sappers Unscripted. We have a very well planned episode for you today. Um, I'm just kidding. We're actually just gonna chit chat today. We're gonna wing this. That's why we call it Sappers Unscripted. We're gonna chat about all things rugby, what's going on, and yeah, guys. I mean, how are you guys doing? You ready to talk some rugby?
Yeah, I'm ready. Can I raise the first topic?
Go for it.
Um, I think it's very interesting that Rassie Erasmus decided to step down as director of rugby, and he wants to appoint the current women's Springbok coach, Louis Kuhn. We all know Louis Kuhn was quite a good fly half for the Springboks. So I don't know if he's the right man for the job. I don't see him being the CEO type role person. So I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, well, obviously we know Rassie Erasmus has signed on as head coach until 2027, possibly even further than that. And it is you can't have the best of both worlds, if you get what I'm saying. Like, we know Rassie can be one of the world's best coaches, but at the same time he knows how to run a union, and he knows how to run like SA rugby. And it's, you are losing a lot of, like, how can I say this? You're losing a lot of good things in Rassie when he steps down from director of rugby, because I felt like he was getting the unions in a good spot. He was, we see the Lions doing better. Obviously, the Sharks haven't been great this season, but just the way things are flowing, I felt like SA rugby was definitely going further and further up, even though not just Springboks, but in general. But I can't say that I know exactly how Louis Kuhn's gonna do. But we can only give him time. But I am a bit nervous because we are used to Rassie Erasmus doing the right thing, which we don't know if Louis Kuhn's gonna do.
Yeah, the thing is, I don't know the procedures around it, but I'm pretty sure Rassie put in a good word for someone or had a say in who he thinks should take over from him. I think he gave a good platform for someone like Louis Kuhn to just come in and continue the good work that has already been done. I think it's more a move of taking a bit off his plate so he can focus more on the Springboks themselves. But I'm pretty sure they took someone that kind of have the same direction. Bless you, Brett. Bless you. Kind of took someone with the same vision and direction that Rassie had. And I'm pretty sure him and Louis might have had a very good talk before all of this rumors even started. So, yeah, as we know, we trust in Rassie. We trust in Rassie to do the right job for the Springboks, but not only the Springboks, but rugby South Africa as a whole. So whatever he does, we have to back Louis Kuhn all the way. Yeah.
So before he was the coach of the women's side, he was I think it was called, I might stand corrected, yeah, but I think it was called, he had the role of director of, what's it called? High performance, something like that. So he's been in a senior position for SA Rugby before. So I think that they took him because of that reason. But yeah, like you both said, they all have a plan. And it's not like the director of rugby appoints coaches anyway, so it's not gonna affect anything based on coaching. So I think it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, if I mean, we all had this conversation after the World Cup, or during the World Cup, like, what's going to happen when Rassie, or when Jacques leaves, and then Rassie Erasmus obviously might not be involved. We all thought, oh, who's going to be the next coach? And it's quite interesting to see how Rassie Erasmus has said, you know what, this is my team, and I want to go 3 for 3. I want to win 3 World Cups in a row. And I think it's a massive statement of intent for Rassie to stay till 2027, because we know many coaches can get bored. They might want a different challenge. But, I mean, Rassie saying, I'm sticking here till the next World Cup at least. It's a massive statement saying, listen, we want to be the first side to ever do 3 in a row. And I mean, I'm happy to have Rassie be the guy, because if anyone can do it, it's him. So I'm pleased with that.
Yeah, I'm not really too worried about it as well, just because of the difference that Rassie made since he's come in. Obviously, he's going for history now as well to go 3 in a row, and I think the South African Rugby Union will do everything in their power to back him, as well as they've done over the last while. Whether he's the director of rugby or just the coach, I think he's made a name for himself. He's proved his point, and I think that he's just going to continue getting that backing. But overall, very happy about it. I have no real qualms about it. I'm happy that he decided, and I think it's a great move overall to say, listen, okay, I'm stepping down from this massive position just to focus on this team alone. I think it serves as a lot of motivation to those players to know that he's ready to fight for them, and they have to just be ready to fight for him as well.
Yeah, that's well said. Actually, I want to get off the Rassie topic quickly for a second. It just came to my mind that the world is actually going apeshit about Duhan van der Merwe. He scores a hat-trick against England, and now all of a sudden he's dubbed as the best left wing in the world. I mean, come on.
Yeah, well, I'm not taking anything away from Duhan van der Merwe. I think he's a good player. You know, attacking wise, one of the best in the world. I can 100% agree. His defense, however, needs a lot of work, I believe. Obviously, many people say, oh, but he's still improving. The fact is, to be the best in the world, you still need to have some of the best defense, some of the best attack. And another point that's been raised a lot, I'm seeing a lot of experts, or as we like to call them, say that he would definitely start for the Springboks. And I think all three of us have agreed in the sense that he doesn't fit the South African wing mold. He's just not a Springbok wing. I mean, if you look at the two wings we have in Cheslin Colby and Kirkley Arendse, they are no ways similar to him, you know. I mean, Duhan wishes he could step the way they do. But, okay, obviously no disrespect to Duhan, but I think it's too soon. I think he's up there. I'm not saying he's far off, but I still think there are players that are a lot more well-rounded than Duhan van der Merwe, than just attacking. So I think it's a bit premature to call him the best wing in the world at this current time.
Yeah, I've raised the point a couple of times in terms of how long does he need to keep up his performances before you start recognizing him as one of the best wingers in the world. But just like recognizing him as one of the best wingers doesn't mean he's the best winger in the world at all. I'm a firm believer that he doesn't get into the South African team. Not as hate on him, but I just don't think he fits the system, especially the rush defense system that we have. And most people would say he doesn't get over Cheslin Colby. Fair enough. But I think Kirkley Arendse currently is better than Cheslin Colby. So he definitely doesn't get over Kirkley Arendse. So that automatically does not get him into this team. He probably gets over the likes of Mapimpi, but I think they are very similar. Maybe Duhan van der Merwe, because they both have the pace, maybe Duhan van der Merwe offers a bit more in attacking rugby. In terms of like you get where I'm going to.
Sure. Yeah.
But I don't see him getting into the team of New Zealand. I don't see him getting into. Does he get in for Ireland over James Lowe and Mac Hansen? I think that even that Nash has been absolutely scintillating. Would you drop your wingers for Duhan van der Merwe? That's what it comes down to.
I think that's actually a good variation, because I would definitely put Duhan van der Merwe over a James Lowe.
Oof. I can see where you're going with it. Because James Lowe is going to ride off picking up Etzebeth in that tackle for I don't know how many more years to come. That's literally what the Irish ride off with James Lowe. And don't get me wrong, James Lowe is a good finisher. But I also think, like, if you think of other wingers, like, I would have a Duhan van der Merwe over, and I'm going to be a hypocrite here because I stood up slightly for Will Jordan back before the World Cup. But I would have a Duhan van der Merwe over Will Jordan easily, 1,000%. I feel like if anything, Duhan will just add more power, like more physicality. And so, look, like we said, we're not disrespecting Duhan van der Merwe. He's just not the best, and that's just an opinion. And that's, I mean, if we call him the best, we're still calling a South African the best. So,
Yeah.
it's not disrespect. It's just I just think that they are better for sure.
Okay, top countries in the world. Let's say Australia. Does he get over Mariko Koroibete?
Well, Koroibete retired now as well, didn't he? So he probably gets in there. Yeah.
Yeah, I say yes.
Yeah.
Who's the Argentine left wing? What's his name?
Carreras.
Yeah,
Yes.
does he get over him?
No, I think Carreras is scintillating.
I agree. I already said he gets over Lowe. He gets over any English player. He can even go play lock for England, and he'll still be he'll still outshine everyone in England.
It would be odd if the dad can't play for his kids' team. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, he gets in a few sides. Like, we can't say that he doesn't, but like we're saying, I mean, if we look at the New Zealand wingers, I mean, obviously, I think Will Jordan's better. Duhan van der Merwe is better than Will Jordan.
He doesn't get close to Mark Telea.
No, but that's what, like there. I think Mark Telea is a far better winger than him. I think Mark Telea offers a lot more than Duhan van der Merwe.
But then again, Will Jordan is a right wing fullback. Wouldn't even compare with a Duhan at left wing. But actually, that's actually a valid point, because I think he'll fit the New Zealand mold very well. Like, think about the Sivi Vatus and the Rocococo. That's a Duhan van der Merwe. I think he fits the mold of New Zealand rugby very well.
Yeah, well, he's kind of that traditional winger where you have to put him into space, right? He's not going to create space out of nothing, and that's what New Zealand kind of thrive on. If you look at Will Jordan, has scored a couple of absolutely brilliant tries, obviously, okay, but also most of his tries are finishes where he's been put into space, and it's just like run as fast as you can, and maybe you have one or two players extra to beat, and that's exactly what Duhan van der Merwe is doing now. So it's tough to compare the likes of Duhan van der Merwe to James Lowe, because James Lowe isn't your traditional winger. James Lowe is playing like a fullback on the wing. Like the guy gets the ball, he kicks it more than Jack Rowley. I swear. I watch the games and I think James Lowe kicks more than Jack Rowley. It is ridiculous. So the best you can kind of compare Duhan van der Merwe is to like the likes of the New Zealand wingers. And the way that New Zealand love Will Jordan, he would never get into that team. And he's definitely not close to Mark Telea. I think Mark Telea is the best winger in the world by a country mile. Do you think Duhan van der Merwe is better than Damien Penaud?
Currently, yes.
Yeah, I think
Penaud can't catch a ball. Let's go pre-World Cup Penaud.
No.
Look, but like we had this conversation about Will Jordan being overrated, and Brett was a massive advocate for that, and obviously I do agree at this stage. But if you look at Will Jordan compared to Penaud, I generally don't see. I think Penaud can create something out of nothing better than Will Jordan, but if you compare the two, I see them as the same type of player. And if we're saying Duhan would be better than Will Jordan, we got to say the same for Penaud at this current time. So, yeah, I mean, Duhan is just, if he can fix his high ball, obviously being comfortable under the high ball and his defense, easily top three, like genuinely, because, I mean, the guy can finish, he's got speed, he's got power, just add good defense on there, good under the high ball. I mean, you have a complete winger right there. So, yeah.
I heard an interesting shout, and I want to hear your guys' opinion on it, of Duhan van der Merwe moving to outside center position, get him on the ball more. Do you guys think that could work, or you just keep him on the wing? It's kind of like the move that George North had.
Yeah, look.
Okay, from my point of view, so I've played obviously every position in the back line, and I think that 13 is one of the most difficult positions to play in the back line. Honestly, I do. I think it's more difficult than fly off, especially when it comes to reading a defense because you're the defensive general, and I don't think that Duhan van der Merwe reads a defense not nearly as good as a Hugh Jones, because for me Hugh Jones is currently the best defense reader in the game currently at this
He's
point.
scintillating. He's been brilliant this Six Nations as well.
Exactly, and I don't think Duhan van der Merwe can fit that role. I honestly don't.
Yeah, and also like a 13 has to be quite skillful as well, in the sense of, you know, you got to be quite, like we see Lucanio can pull some crazy passes out of nothing, can find space, you know, he knows when to take the gap, when to send it wide. Whereas the Duhan van der Merwe let's be real, he's a bulldozer. I mean, he's a physical wing, you know, that's what he's going to do. So if anything, which I still wouldn't do, you'd put him at 12 because he's more physical than he is flashy. But like I said, I wouldn't even do that because I think he's
You
the
can't
finisher.
see him pass.
Yeah, I mean, he's the finisher, and that's what a wing is for, to finish off the backline move to score. So I'm happy with him at wing, and I think that's where his career should ultimately stay.
Yeah. I agree. I thought it was an interesting topic to bring up, so I just brought it to the floor. Let's move on to something that is quite recent from this weekend. Obviously, I think was it the first red card of the Six Nations? We've got Dante, head collision,
Paul
5
Billings
week
got a
ban.
red card as well.
Oh yeah, but we're not counting 2 yellow cards as a red card. That's just 2 yellow cards. Obviously, Dante getting the red card. What are not our thoughts on the red card itself, because that's boring discussions. What do we think about the head contact rule in rugby at the moment? Do we think it's a bit soft? Do we think they should let it roll a bit more? Or do you think it's fair just to protect the players?
I think it's too soft at the moment, and people can hate me for saying that, saying we need to look after players. But I was at training yesterday. I ran into contact. I got a double hit, and I made head contact with one of the guys when I was going down. Now, the way it felt, it probably would have been, let's just say if it was in an international game, it would have been looked at on the TMO, and the guy who tackled me would have got a red card. Now, I'm like, I see nothing wrong with it. It was a good tackle. The way we were falling, we collided out, or we hit heads together. So I just think it's too soft because some things are just, obviously, if you see a massive shoulder to the head or a massive just, oh, let me come and hit you like this, like, then it's a different story. But it's a contact game. We can't be so strict on contact. I mean, even the tackle laws coming into club rugby now, and we see in Varsity Cup, it's getting so strict. I mean, I can't even tackle above the guys like I mean, it's ridiculous, and it's just too soft to me, in my opinion. I really don't enjoy it.
Have you guys heard of the red car theory?
No.
You? So the red car theory is that it's actually a term used in business that if you're driving to work or whatever, and somebody asks you when you get to work, how many red cars did you see? You wouldn't know. There's no way that you would know how many red cars you saw. But then that person says to you when you go back home, tell me how many red cars you see. And then what are you going to look out for? Red cars. You're not going to see any other car because you're going to be looking for red cars. And reason why I bring this up is because this team that I coach at the school, I've been coaching them for 3 years now, and not once in 3 years have we had a high tackle. Then somebody came to the school and did a whole explanation on the new high tackle rule. The high tackle rule that if the guy's carrying the ball and you hit him on the ball or up, it's a straight high tackle. If you grab him on his shoulder, it's a high tackle. It's imprinted in the players now today. Today we had a match. I gave away 4 penalties for high tackles. First time in 3 years. So I think that this rule, putting emphasis on this rule, is making the game more dangerous. And I didn't think about it until today, until I was like, we are the best low tackling team in the whole school. Now, all of a sudden, that a guy came out to explain the tackle rules to players. Now that's all they think of. I must hit the guy, yeah. And that's at school level, primary school level. So, yeah.
Yeah, because the players start overthinking it instead of just like going for the game. And I agree with Brevan in terms of it's gone a bit soft, because when you decide, listen, I want to play rugby, that is what you sign up for. Okay, like accidents happen. Like we're not talking about guys literally shooting the other guy with the head. Okay, not talking about headbutts or anything. Like, accidental head injuries are going to happen, and yes, it could hurt the player, and yes, there should be measurements to keep the game safe to some degree, right? But not accidental headbutts and stuff. You can't be a MMA fighter and then be mad because you get hurt. It's part of the game. It's a physical and a contact sport. That is what you sign up for. And the most disgraceful one for me was almost, I think it was two weekends ago when England played Wales, and Ollie Chesham had a normal clear out or a normal tackle. It was the softest thing. It was more like a push to his head. And automatically they're just like, okay, that's the rules. You have to be off in the bin. I'm not saying you have to leave stuff open for interpretation, because then it just gets an absolute shit show on the field.
Yeah.
But seriously, we never spoke about high tackles being an issue and stuff during the Butch James era. Okay. And that was when some of the hardest hits came in. Like, it's just like Brett said, when they started putting emphasis on it, it started to get more and more and more, because you are pointing it out, people are overthinking it, and then you literally have to send people off and cost teams games because of accidental stuff that happens. It is part of the game. Like, seriously, people, I get so annoyed by it, because it disrupts the whole flow of the game, switches all the momentum in the game, because the team obviously is just going to get defensive being 14 guys on the field, especially at higher levels of the game.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so, I mean, obviously, well, that means we know now Dante is out for 5 weeks. I mean, he misses the rest of the Six Nations. I mean, what does that mean for France? And news that Jalibert is also injured. What does this mean for France now?
It means nothing. It means that they're on the exact same level than they have been for the last 3 weeks, because they've been absolute dog shits, and that's not going to change.
They've been the worst team in the Six Nations.
Yeah, they might actually get better. But on that topic that we're talking about, France now, so we've spoken about this, and I actually want to speak about it again. Like, we always complaining. Everyone always has something to say about a ref and stuff, and it's okay if a ref misses something because he's looking in the opposite direction or something. But that the penalty should have been re-awarded for Italy. And like, everywhere I go, all the coaches are talking about it. All the rugby people that bump into me, they ask me the same question. What do I think of this? And I want to know, why on earth did the ref not let him take the kick over? Why? Like, it wasn't something that a guy maybe just moved. The guy literally charged up and stood right in front of him. The water boy was on the field. Everything that could have been wrong was wrong. And it just annoys me. And I know we've already spoken about it, but it gets me every time.
Yeah, we want to follow the rule book to the T when it comes to just a normal tackle, even if it's just accidental. But we don't want to follow the rule book to the T when it's like something that has to be kicked off the tee. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Or when it's against France.
Yeah. I mean, we went on about it rants after rants, because it feels like a blatant robbery to Italy on that one. And obviously they still got the draw, which is massive for Italy. But knowing they should have won that game, that was their game to win. And it was just like snatched from them. Do you think that is a bigger robbery or the Scottish one?
Both. It's ridiculous. I mean,
same.
It's literally just utterly ridiculous. and it makes me fume because the disrespect that their fans had the whole World Cup towards every other nation, that we are the bee's knees. We are the host of this World Cup. It's almost like we weren't welcome. Okay, I didn't go, so I can't actually guarantee this. But a lot of people are saying that it's not a very like they don't like. Okay, so my friend went. My friend in the UK went, and he went to a few games, and they were also supposed to have fan parks. Fan parks for games like, for instance, I think it was South Africa versus Ireland. I think it was. They opened up the gates, I think, I think just before kickoff, so that some people even missed the beginning of the game. They still had to get tickets at the gate. So it was very just, we don't care. But the minute it was a France game, a fan park was open 5 hours before. You could go find your seat, find your place. It was almost like, it's our World Cup, it's not yours, deal with it. And that's the attitude I get. And that's just changed my whole mindset on France as a country. And after the World Cup, when they complained about a lot of things that we didn't even do wrong. I mean, the Colby charge down, saying it's a bit. I mean, I just can't. I'll get a bit too angry. So just carry on.
I was just gonna say France should never complain about a ref's decision again, like they complain about Ben O'Keefe, because they've got away with 2 ref decisions in the Six Nations. They should be dead last on this tournament with the Six Nations.
Yeah, I agree, and it's a bit suspicious that the 2 most controversial calls in the Six Nations both happened in France's favor.
Yeah,
like that kick and that try. Everyone, the whole world saw that was clearly a try. The ball is grounded, and the whole world saw that the Oak charged up and the water boy was on, and the one guy was standing there with his arms when the rule says you have to stand with your hands on your hips. I don't know, just getting a bit suspicious.
Yeah, just to round off this episode, and we're gonna stick with France because I saw a rumor, and I'm not sure how conclusive this is, but there's talks that Fabien Galtier could get the sack. Do we agree with that with their current performances? Do you put a little caveat behind it because his best player isn't there? Do you give him some leeway with that? I'll jump straight to Brett because I know Brett will feed off this one. So Brett, Galtier in or out?
Okay, so Galtier for me in 100%. I have massive respect for this person as a coach because of how he transformed a player like Penno. Penno was bang average. He became one of the best in the world. Their star player, their star scrum off he wasn't bang average, but he wasn't considered the best in the world. He's now considered one of the best in the world. The stuff he brings out in players is it's insane for me. I think he's globally one of the best coaches. Yes, he's going through a dip. Every single coach ever went through the same dip. Like Jake White, 2004, same dip. Every coach goes through this, and I know he'll bounce back. I just don't think that you can't fire a guy that's done so well for so long, and then one poor performance with half his team not there. You can't. That's unfair.
Just to add to that, the person that's in this rumor of replacing him is Ronan O'Gara. Of course, we know what he's done with La Rochelle. If you talk about building teams up, that is what he's done. Exactly the same thing. Taking amateur teams and building them up. So Brett, you can continue on to that and talk about Ronan O'Gara. Maybe that has changed your perspective a bit, or you can give the floor to Brevan.
I will give the floor to Brevan, but first let me just add, I would like to see a Ronan O'Gara as an assistant coach for France before he takes over the head coach role. Yes, he's good and his French is perfect. Like apparently he's 100% fluent in French, has been even when he played for Ireland. So I think that give him the role as an assistant. Yes, he might see it as a downgrade from where he is now, but I think that him and Gaultier together could be like a Rassie and Jock Nienaber combo.
Yeah. Look, I think I would give him some time. I would give him. I'm talking about the French coach now. Sorry, not Ronan O'Gara. Yeah.
Cool.
And I would give him till the end of the year, see where he goes, because obviously Antoine Dupont will feed back in. They might even get Intermac back. I mean, he'll be back at some point, and give him his best side again. I think it's only fair. However, I think the drop off in the Six Nations towards the World Cup, whilst it could be a coach's fault, I also somewhat disagree. I've mentioned this in a previous episode. It's completely attitude, in my opinion. I think the French are just the attitude is just not right. So that obviously needs to be fixed. But moving on to O'Gara, I mean, that's not a bad shout. I mean, and you shouldn't see it as a downgrade if he goes to an assistant coach position. I mean, that's
He's loved in France.
I mean,
Yes.
if Jacques Nienaber could go from an assistant coach for the Boks to head coach to the Boks to now head coach at Leinster, I mean, imagine what O'Gara could do, because O'Gara is a bloody good coach. I wouldn't even take anything away from him at all. I wouldn't even decide to throw any disrespect, because what he did with La Rochelle was highly respected. I mean, it's a team that wasn't filled with the superstars like Dupont and all of that. I mean, he had obviously Aldrit and a few others. I mean, Raymond Rule and Lates as well. So not like superstars, but he made that team work, and an assistant role there in France would do him the world of good.
I'm sorry, they still lost. They still lost to the Stormers, so I don't think it's good enough.
Only by 1 point in Cape Town, better than the Bulls did, and I'm a Bulls fan, so got to give them respect.
Just to add to it, I don't think he'll take the assistant coaching role, just because we all know he's a fiery character, right? He's a big personality when it comes to this thing. And as Brevan mentioned, Jacques Nienaber went from this to that to head coach to head coach. I don't think he'll necessarily see it as a drop off, but you don't want to go from franchise world champions, the Investor Cup champions, head coach, to like the assistant coaching position, because he doesn't want to take over from Gaultier and take what Gaultier left and then move on from that. He wants to implement his own system. He's just that type of guy. You can see he's a very passionate guy. He wants his own system implemented. And I don't know, did you guys see his interview that he did with Jim Hamilton? I watched that and was just like, yeah, okay, wherever this guy goes, he's just going to change everything. Doesn't matter. It has to fit his system. And he understands players. I think he's a very respectable coach. I think he's absolutely brilliant. And I've called for it a couple of times. I don't think he'll coach the French team. I've got a sneaky feeling like Farrell will go back to England somehow, because I don't think Borthwick's doing a good job at all. They spend the money, they'll fall on their sword, they'll call Farrell back, and then Ronan O'Gara can take over that Irish job. That's just my opinion, especially with Sexton gone as well, because we know there was beef.
They hate each other, yes, but I think you just raised something that just made my mind go. Farrell will never leave Ireland. He's got a farm there. He's built his house there. He's not leaving Ireland. But if Borthwick goes, O'Gara goes to England, head coach of England.
Wow. Okay, yeah. I'm taking credit for that one.
I've also seen. Obviously, we know Owen Farrell cannot play for England, as he's now playing in France. But I've seen something about, and this is coming from obviously a lot of my mates from the UK. There are talks there that Owen Farrell could maybe change his allegiance and go to Ireland.
Yes.
Now imagine that.
They said that he might. He could play international rugby in the very near future, but it won't be for England.
I mean,
Isn't there like a waiting period as well?
3 years.
yeah, he has Irish.
Yeah, that's
yes,
right.
Irish
That's
grandparents, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah. He doesn't need to.
Yeah.
No, but like, if you played for England, surely there's a waiting period before you can play for another nation.
Well, look
Yeah,
at John Klein, and so yeah, there is a bit of a waiting period.
Yeah, it's 3 years. It's 3
Yeah.
years. 3 years since the last time you played international rugby, and by the end of the year, that's already a year gone. Well, actually, by October this year, it's already a year gone. So
How old is he now?
he's not even 30 yet.
Because I know they're trying to maybe target him for the next World Cup for Ireland. I mean, losing experience like Johnny Sexton and then bringing in experience like Owen Farrell. I mean, I think that's what they're aiming to do. And look, obviously they're trying to build Crowley up, but you never know. We could get an Owen Farrell, Bundy Aki, 10-12. You never know. It's just an interesting topic.
I think that would be stupid of Ireland to leave Crowley for Farrell. I think Crowley's a better player, fits that system way better. Obviously, Farrell just gives you what Sexton gave you again. I think Farrell's probably a better player than Johnny Sexton. But I think Crowley is better than both of them, just what he offers on the ball. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
Like you added, that's just your opinion.
Oh, yeah. Well, to finish off, let's finish off on some Safa news, I guess, ish.
Like
we
it's
spoke about... Yeah, well, yeah, please subscribe if you got this far into our bickering. But look, guys, me and Mr. Burns are off to Loftus on Saturday, or tomorrow for you guys, because it's coming out on Friday. And as of this moment in time, I only think there's like 5,500 tickets left, and we're filming this on Wednesday night. So it's going to be a full Loftus Stadium. I'm really looking forward to it. I mean, obviously we did the whole preview and stuff, but there's just something that's bugging me, and it happens every time before a North versus South derby, the Bulls versus Stormers, and the media is all the Bulls players going, we are not afraid, we are not this, we are ready to fight, and you hear nothing from the Stormers camp because the Stormers are doing what they're supposed to do, not get caught up in the nonsense of the media and train. Now, I'm not saying the Bulls are not taking this seriously, but I'm kind of tired of seeing every time this game is played, the Bulls saying, we don't fear, going to Cape Town, and if I would be proud if we could beat this. Like, it's just, how about, we stay away from the media for just a week and we do our job on the field. It would be great.
No, just the fact that you guys have to put it out there that you don't fear us is enough said. Like, why would you even have to put it out there that you don't fear a team? Because that's what everyone...
Look, it's journalists twisting words. That's not the exact words that I used, but my point that I'm trying to make here is, it's always the Bulls coming out in the media the week before. I mean, the week of. It's never the Stormers. And it's simple. It's just, I think the Bulls need to stay away from the media. Like, just...
It's always Jake
don't
after the game also.
The thing is, don't overcomplicate the game. I mean, it's a North versus South derby. We know it's big, but just go into it and do your job for the week. I mean, it's as simple as that.
I wonder if I should wear my 2022 URC Champions jersey that says Stormers versus Bulls, and at the back it says Champions. I wonder if I should wear that one.
I could wear my Super Rugby one if you wanted as well.
Wow, does it have dust on it?
Yeah, you see. Now watch. Now, okay, we're gonna get into banter. I can't be asked. I really can't be asked.
Yours is with dust.
Wear your Stormers, your Super Rugby jersey. Just if it's still the same color, because it's probably like changed color over the last 22 years.
It's the same color as our logo, our names here at the bottom, and the logo there at the top.
Oaks. It's been 2 years. You've been better than us. Like, relax.
And before that, it was 12 years since the last time you guys won something. So just also relax.
We'll see. We'll see.
Okay, as Brett usually says, okay, bye. Thank you very much, guys, for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe. This episode was literally just rambling on and on. We'll see you next time. Thank you.